Welcome to The Force Always. My name is Diz, aka David Zammit. Let's get on with it. News, views, reviews, and interviews. Big news today. We have now a second image from Starfighter, which is a movie that's being made right now. It's poised to be the next big Star Wars movie. Original movie set 5 years after the rise of Skywalker. Whether it actually connects to it or not, we don't know, but it's the next original future movie, meaning there is no other Star Wars movie that will be this new in the story timeline. The brand new image, it's Ryan Gosling and Flynn Gray at sea. I think it's great. I'll try and extend on my thoughts a bit later. But anyway, that's another image for Starfighter. That's Star Wars Starfighter coming out in 2027. I've said, and I'll say it again, I think it's going to be the Undercover episode 10. If it's not, don't worry. I'll still watch it and I will probably still like it. Anyway, so let's get... And it's not that I like everything and anything Star Wars. There's lots of things about Star Wars that I despise, that I get cringe to. But generally, it's just a great story. Visual, audio, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so that's the news for this time around. Let's get now into the views. Views is my story idea in anything Star Wars. That doesn't mean Star Wars needs my story ideas or it needs to be rectified or fixed or anything like this. It's fine as it is. But my story idea this time is going to centralize a little bit on the photo we just got. Now, for me, a lot of people online apparently are just accusing it in a funny sort of way, like Waterworld. That was what was that guy? God, I never remember names. My God, he made this movie called Waterworld. It was like a dry, sort of long, really over budget film. If you look at the history of that film, it was out of control. But anyway, I think this possibly connects it to Ahch-To, the planet Ahch-To, possibly. And I would actually say that I think referencing anything in the past should be very minimal. Not because of fans being upset or, despise, the prequels or the sequels or the originals or whatever. I just think, let's just have the Star Wars universe really just come off clean in a used future way, funny enough, and just really, start just sinking your teeth into a great emotional film. When I say emotional, not sad, but just like a, heroic type of film, which really what we saw in 1977. Essentially, that was the most heroic type of film. It was just amazing. Still to this day, it sort of works well. It's a simple story now, but that simple story was, mind-blowing. I just think, I'd like this image to connect to Ahch-To, which I think that's what you call it. That's where Luke Skywalker ended up when we found him in Last Jedi, which is episode 8, into sort of episode 9, Rise of Skywalker. Just too much of this is not going to just create a base for a brand new feel. You need to sort of limit this type of stuff and really push forward. That's my story idea. Limit the past and really push forward with the brand new. And that is in an old way. Funny enough, Star Wars is about you's future. It's not about really, I'll be selfish. I love George Lucas, but the youth future thing that he created is great. Absolutely great. That's what I think. Anyway, that's my views for this time around. Let's get into the reviews. Speaking of Luke, I want to show you another figure. Now, I'm not going to be all about figures, but this is another figure, exclusive figure. This figure is the exclusive figure at the 40th anniversary Star Wars celebration that was in Orlando. That's really the last time you felt such an energy with Star Wars fans. Let me tell you, I will put myself in as a witness, as an example to what I endured that time. It was just full on. Anyway, this to be honest, the celebration just before that, or the announcement or something like the actually for Force Awakens, when Han Solo said to Chewbacca in the Force Awakens, "We're home." That caused an I would have loved to be there. I was not there. That's what technically inspired me to go to these Star Wars celebrations, that particular celebration. But anyway, this is the Luke Skywalker. This is from A New Hope 40th anniversary figure. It's slightly bigger than your classic figure. It's a exclusive Star Wars celebration. You could only buy two at the time. I did buy two. The other one I gave to a good friend. He's still got it, I'm sure. But this here, look at that. Beautiful. Look at that. Just that reflective card. The figure is almost, look at that. It's almost like a hot toy. It's that detail. Look at it. Beautiful. Anyway, this I'm going to give, you can only give this a 10. I mean, come on. It's from the classic film. It's a great figure. It's my first exclusive that I ever technically got. That is a unique figure. There's not many around. Anyway, that's a 10. Let's get into interviews, and let me just pop up the tab of questions. Let's have a look. Okay. Well, we've got Michael from Werribee South once again. Yeah, Werribee South. Michael. What is he going to ask this time? Let's have a look. He wants to ask, you have a great channel, by the way. Loving the extra weekly videos. Keep up the good work, bro. Well, that wasn't a question. That was a very nice comment. I didn't expect that. Thank you very much, Michael. Just remember, Michael, you owe me $50, and I'm going to make sure you never owe me that $50 so I can just keep reminding you that you owe me $50. But anyway, that's, Anyway, so let's go to a question. Why did Mark Hamill leave Star Wars? Well, I don't think he left Star Wars. Pretty much his character, by the Rise of Skywalker, had come to an end. I mean, he's technically a human. He would be known as about 75, 80 years old. There's not much more he can really give to the world besides being a legendary Jedi. So he didn't actually leave. It was because his character just came to an end. I mean, you could do Force Ghosts and stuff like that, but I just think, we don't really need to be reminded with Force Ghosts. It doesn't always have to happen. But Mark Hamill, the actor, didn't quit Star Wars. There was speculation, but if you're really looking into his interviews, he's pretty much at the same opinion. Well, what I'm saying to you now. What more can you give? I mean, you can't live to 900 years old, which is like Yoda, I think, as a human. Even in Star Wars, it's just not possible. So his character died. Spoiler. But anyway, yeah, so Mark Hamill did not leave abruptly, especially Star Wars. It's just his character just came to an end. He said, well, let's just move on. And I think it's a good idea because we need to sort of have newness to Star Wars, but not just newness to have newness. It needs to be, like a great story that is captivating. Okay? To me, captivating Star Wars films, there's plenty of. There's some that are a bit lame, but, we just need to, re-explore being, being captive. That's what I do. Anyway, so let's go to his next question. Michael from Werribee South is asking, there are rumors Mark Hamill will return in Star Wars. Is there any truth to this? It's a rumor. A rumor is a rumor, and that's it. That's a rumor. There's nothing. That's it. Rumor. That's it. But people have come back from the dead before, especially in Star Wars, especially characters from Star Wars. Hence the Emperor, Darth Maul, sort of Han Solo in a way, but in a really abstract sort of way of putting it. Many characters have returned. I just think that's one of the biggest weaknesses in Star Wars storytelling is the return of characters. They just get, the impact of them being killed is there, but I think they're just forgetting, is this going to be a character we can continue with in such a great way? And I think the biggest opportunity lost as a character was Darth Maul. I mean, Darth Maul was not my favorite character in the beginning. He was just like a bit of a crazed basketball fan as a look, but he had a great, future. And then he just died in episode 1. That's a spoiler, just to let you know. He died, gone. But technically, he came back. That's another spoiler. In the animated sort of series of, I think, Clone Wars or something like that, he came back. It was sort of good how he came back, but it was, come on. That's it. Dead. When you're dead, you're dead. Anyway. So that's the questions, that's the interview, that's the interviews, that's interviewing myself. Technically for Michael. Michael seems to be my interviewer. Yeah. But thanks to Michael from Werribee South. It's great. So now, that's it. That's the show this time around. Big show this was with the new Starfighter photo. What else is going to come? We actually really need a bit more Mandalorian and Grogu. We need something that the regular public can actually, sink their teeth in. I've seen it. I mean, you've probably seen pirated versions, but that's the thing. But anyway, that's the show for this time around. Let me just... I'm actually drinking a bit of Kool-Aid today. Dark-looking Kool-Aid, if that's such a thing. I don't know. Anyway, until next time, my friends, keep rocking.